Greetings, humanity, and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is Alas for the Angry Void, a reskinning of Alas for the Awful Sea by Storybrewers Roleplaying, to tell a gothic science fiction story set among the stars. We're going to go around and say hi to everybody, find out who we have here and who they are playing, and we will be starting with Hollow. Hello!
Hello, I'm Hollow. I use he, him pronouns. I'll be playing Jackson Mead, using the Confidant play sheet. You need anything else from me, Jim, or just that?
Yeah, that's good. Whatever you want to tell us.
Sure. I'm also using he, him pronouns.
Cool. And now we will head over to Cleric. Hello.
Hello, I'm Cleric of Court. She, her pronouns. I will be playing Fergus, who's the old sea dog, and the creature.
Yes. Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone. Fergus uses he, him pronouns.
Excellent. And now we will head over to Mem. Hello.
Hello, I'm Mem. I use she, her pronouns. And today I will be Irina Maynard. We also use she, her pronouns. And we are the Scholar Believer.
Excellent. And now we will go over to Robin. Hello.
Hello, I am Robin. I use whatever pronouns. Today I am playing Rust Worsley, the surgeon and the outcast who uses he, him pronouns.
Excellent. And finally, we will head over to Katy. Hello.
Hi, I'm Katy. I'll be playing Levitt Teague. We both use they, she pronouns, and Levitt is the assassin lover.
Excellent. Yeah, I think the playbook is called The Mercenary, but we know.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, no, it's fine. Oh, no,
you don't
no.
know what I'm really going to be, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's a mercenary. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
We know where my brain is.
That's perfectly... No, it's specificity is good. Awesome.
Murderer problem?
Exactly. Murderer problem. You got it.
Okay.
Murderer. Yes. Excellent. But before we dive in here, just as a reminder, you may see us use safety tools from time to time. Like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or hold up a card or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can put an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we are moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. Just a few content warnings. This game may contain gothic themes, gloom, despair, intense emotions, macabre scenes, romance, and curses, along with references to violence, alien creatures, colonialism, crime, death, exploitation, family issues, separation from family, homesickness, loneliness, starvation, utter decompression, sudden decompression, the vacuum of space, and vengeance. You can see that. That's going to be coming up regularly in the chat, but you can see that if you want by typing !Alas CW for Alas content warning, and that'll show that content warning there. But please remember also that we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. It has been a while. Now, however, I must introduce our game, so that we might get into it. The void of space is a living thing, infinite in scope, impossibly wide in vision. It sees our universe, and it knows what lies within and without. And it can feel both, always. All beings that exist send echoes across the void with their every sound, every thought, every movement. The void feels your joy, and it feels your pain, your fear, your sadness, your love, your births, your lives, your deaths. All of it. It feels everyone's. A cacophony of existence sending eternal echoes across all of space and time. The void tolerates the noise as best it can, but it likes it not at all. Humanity accounts for a tiny, one might think, insignificant portion of the universe. But still, humanity is loud. And, against all odds, its echoes have inspired in the void an unprecedented level of rage and irritation. Humanity is like an itch in the middle of your back that you can't quite reach. You'd think they'd have evolved further in the considerable number of centuries, millennia perhaps, since they left their home planet to live among the stars. But humanity's actions over the last century or so are about to bring things to a head. The void is angry. With the human race specifically. And our protagonists may soon have an opportunity to witness the void's wrath firsthand. Let us see what they are doing now. We are going to begin our approach to this sector. This is the Tauran sector. And we're going to see, sort of zooming in here, your ship, CS Chimera, or Chimera, or Chimera, depending on which side of the room you're standing. My mother always said Chimera. I don't know. I'll go with something like that. I'm wondering what this ship looks like on the outside. We never really talked about that. What do we think?
Didn't we say it's a transport type ship? Isn't that what we?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's done everything. It's been passengers, it's been a freighter, it's been a merchant.
I think it's
I
like
imagine
I think we talked about it being like kind of patchwork because it's been through
Yes.
a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
Probably big and bulky.
Yep. Little bits coming off of it that you can tell weren't a part of the original plan, but who needs aerodynamics in space? So
Yeah.
Definitely like that house you run into and you're like, what Yahoo did this?
yes.
I like to imagine that someone owned it in the past that put a large flame decal on the side because they thought flames make it go faster.
Is that
Which
not the
is now-
case?
it's peeling off a little bit and
Yeah.
flaky. Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
flaking, like some vinyls do, if it, after a long time. Yeah.
Maybe a little ramshackle, but clearly loved.
Yes, it is.
Someone
it is,
keeps smoothing down that decal with a loving hand.
It's
Yep.
well loved. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell it's well maintained. There's no rust or anything like that.
No, Rust.
No.
Well,
It's right
there's
No
just the one.
rest.
It's right there.
Just one rest.
Well,
Just
the rust
one
is
rust.
inside. The rust is inside the ship, not on the outside.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ah, yes, very good. Excellent. So I think we're getting a pretty good picture of this. I also remember we said it used to be like a pleasure yacht at some point. Which accounts for, as we're going in, we're going to see this place has a lot of rooms, a few more rooms than one would expect of something like a simple cargo ship or a simple passenger ship. Maybe a passenger ship would have this. Not a huge ship, not a big ship, but not a small ship either. And we're going to be heading toward, I believe, I think that what makes the most sense to me is the first destination is going to be the hub planet, Metaxas. If we're good with that. Are we good with that for our initial destination? Okay. So, I'd like to go around and we're going to just sort of see, as we are coming on approach to this planet Metaxas, we're going to see each of you as we're introducing each of your characters. I'm just grabbing a tiny little vignette here so that we can see a little bit about what your character is about. Who would like to go first? Just tell us where you are in the ship and what you're doing, and which is what we see.
I'll go. So Fergus is masculine appearing, indeterminate age, anywhere between 40 and 60. Who knows? They got a skull cap, beanie covering their hair, but there's little bits of like gray and black hair that's just kind of sticking out from underneath it. Not very neat, very almost slovenly in appearance. The shirt hasn't been pressed in forever. It's got old stains on it, but it doesn't have fresh stains on it. So it goes to the laundry every now and again. The cuffs are worn and faded. But it's a burly guy, face is weathered, solid. Eyes are dark and they just seem to have a glitter to them. There's something, it's almost like the stars are reflecting off of their eyes at any time. And he's wandering the hallways with this gray cat that's walking with him. And this gray cat is like, it's got one ear that's obviously been chewed on. There are scars on it. It looks really beat up. It's got this bit of a tail. And the cat is walking, and he's conversing with the cat. And every once in a while, he'll stop, hum a little tune, take off the one tool that's on his belt, bang on something, nod, continue humming with occasional words towards the cat. Or it might be words. Who knows?
Hard to say. I think that the cat notes your work when you're banging on things, and then the rest of the time is kind of distracted. I think.
Yeah, there's always that kind of like, really, you have to make that level of noise.
Yeah. Just that strange thought of like the sort of the imagining that's like, where was it? It's noise time now? I seem to remember feeding time seems to be coming up soon, but I don't see any food. I'll wait here a little longer and see if there's anything. I'm imagining the cat's thinking those thoughts right now.
Just real quick, if I disappear, it's because the cat inspired by this cat is sitting on top of my desktop and may step on the power button.
Oh no!
It's happened before. So,
cat unhappy with portrayal in online RPG.
So if I disappear, that's why.
Okay. Understood. Well, let's see. Who would like to go next?
I can. Levitt, knowing that they're about to go to this hub city, someone who cares very much about her appearance is in her room, which happens to be the old captain's quarters, like the biggest room on the ship, is in there in like one of those, I call them like mourning robes, like the robe with like the fluffy feathered sleeves, like the sheer robe type of thing, basically giving herself like a spa day in her room, surrounded by like new things that she's not taken tags off of from their last stop. Just like tons of like clothes and like trinkets and stuff that she's bought the last time they stopped that she spent all of her money on. And she's sort of just like painting her fingernails and like her hair's up in a towel, that sort of thing. And as they hear the banging like outside of the wall, they just go, I guess I have a migraine. Please stop. I need. This is supposed to be. I'm tired. That sort of thing. Just complaining about Fergus and all the noise.
Well,
who we lost.
Yeah, that which was prophesied has come to pass. We shall doubtless recover momentarily. Hopefully, we shall recover. We shall recover them. We shall recover the cleric. But in the meantime, I'm going to do a quick little bit of magic. There we go. As we reorient, and so I do have a question actually I wanted to ask that I forgot to ask Cleric, but that's okay. We'll get to it. Why are you heading to the hub, Metaxas? What do you think? I mean, I understand why you're on the ship. We talked about that, but why this port? What are you looking for in this port that we're heading to?
I mean, basically Levitt just goes where the ship goes. This is a place where above the table, this is the big port, right? The big hub.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, it
cool.
is. This is the large town.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think like Levitt knows that there's a possibility for jobs to make more money. You know, that sort of thing. So this is just, I mean, Levitt's gonna go where the Chimera goes. So this is just money, please.
We enjoy the monies. It's yes. This is the there's lots of opportunities here. It's also the easiest place I think to stop off after a long trip first to just basically resupply, do whatever the basic stuff you
He's
need to do.
very greed motivated, so that's
Mm-hmm.
that's what they're gonna do.
Well, that is where the money in this sector is. So that's true. Not many major settlements. Well, I'll get into that in a moment. Who'd like to go next?
Sure, I can go. Jackson is a stocky man with a plump face and very sweet eyes. And he tries his best to be agreeable as people come and go on the ship, if there's anybody on the ship. He is sitting next to a large pallet stamped canned hams. And he has a set of notebooks. He has a set of notebooks kind of stacked next to him as he is penning canned ham recipes. This is his new venture.
Love it.
Let's see here. I think we have to be careful about the colonies. What do they have available? What would be available on Taxis? I don't even know yet. Oh, I bet Levitt would know. But if I bother Levitt today, she'll kill me. Maybe not actually kill me, but maybe mildly kill me. I'd rather be less dead. No. Oh, what a lovely coat! What a lovely coat you're wearing.
Now, before we dive into what we're doing on the ship, let me know just what is the so what's Jackson looking forward to doing on Metaxas?
Well, he heard that there's some wonderful textile trader that maybe he can get into some business with, and that would be delightful.
Okay, just looking to do business.
Yeah.
Trade. Excellent. So I actually do want to just ask, as far as the nature of how this works, you usually just like bring a sample and then they get, if they want to be, are you like a supplier in this case? Do you bring them a sample and then there more stuff shows up, or do you just like bring some of your inventory and that's what you have?
I bring some of my inventory. The canned ham thing has actually just been odd because I've been mostly selling it on the ship, and that's just it's been odd, and also bribing the cat to stay away, which is kind of counterintuitive because the cat comes back for more canned ham. It's not ideal, but I also don't want the cat to claw me. Please don't call me cat. Please.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. What? I'm curious. Actually, oh God, the cat came up. You occasionally see these. There is a cat that you see sometimes in this ship. Obviously, what do you see when you see this cat?
It's orange and big and mean. It has one eye. It has one eye and it has this giant primordial pouch that drags across the floor. And when it looks at me, it's constantly snarling like it's ready to jump on me. And I don't want any of that. So I give it a little bit of meat and then it goes away. But it's going to come back because all of its claws are needles.
Oof. Yeah, you don't want to mess with a cat like that. So let us move on. Let's see who hasn't gone yet. We have someone who hasn't gone. Yeah. What do we see?
So Rust looks like your typical gothic romantic male love interest, dark and brooding, with like his hair is like just like tousled enough that you're like it's like a little intentional, Yes, Wuthering Heights core. And he is in the medical bay of the ship, going through and taking an inventory of what supplies are available and what supplies he currently has and what needs to be restocked and what we have in abundance. So doing an inventory because when we get to Metaxas, I am going to be refilling my pantry. What do you call it? My pharmacy? Yeah,
sure. Yeah, we can go. Yeah. Resupplying your you're resupplying the drugs? Is that what we're looking at?
The drugs, the syringes, the saline, the gloves, the surgical masks, the little paper things that you put underneath the tray, like the surgical tray, to like keep everything from wiggling about, kind of thing. Like
those are important.
Very important. Yeah.
Yeah, sterile paper. Yeah, this is very important to be able to pick that stuff up. So that's good. That's good. You're going there looking for.
Oh
that.
yes, and we hear a knock from Fergus, and something just like falls off a shelf at the knock. It's just like corresponding to the sound. It just like lies on the floor, and we watch as Rust follows it, and it just like watches as it as it sits there. He's just like,
Going to stare deeply into this thing that has fallen from the shelf. There's supposed to be no gravity in space. Damn it! And yet, this ship has its own. Yeah, but
Told you how to store your stuff properly. If you can't store your stuff properly, then you need to tie it down.
important. But before we get into scenes, I do want to. We have one more member of the crew to introduce, and that is Irina.
Oh. So Irina is just like a neat little lady. She looks real sweet, round face, pleasant, friendly. Hair is always neatly done. She dresses in whatever sort of neat space wear is, all the rage for the religious folk. We're working through that. And so she's always neatly put together, pleasant, kind, friendly to everyone, although maybe a little innocent appearing, a little naive in some ways. She looks just a little too long at everyone. It's a little unsettling. And she is currently in her room, also sort of taking inventory of all of her supplies and things. She's headed to Metaxas to continue her journey for knowledge. She's hoping to find perhaps some rare texts and other religious items there in the hub for sale. Not necessarily that that's where they live before that. And restocking all of her supplies and getting things together for her ongoing scientific endeavors. And as she hears all this thumping about in the hallway, she pokes her head out, sees Fergus and the cat. Although to Irina, this cat is a small, really precious tortoiseshell cat who's very sweet. As sweet as this cat can be. And is somewhat friendly, will allow the occasional pet here and there, will rub up against ankles and then run away, but isn't super friendly other than that.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah. And you do see this sort of modeled cat, and you see Fergus banging on something with their with his Pulaski-like device, basically a fireman's pick type thing. And I meant to ask Fergus one of that I forgot first time around, so I'll ask now. What are you looking to do on Metaxas?
Fergus has a good friend, Percival, who runs the on Metaxas. There's a separate market for the shippers, for the crews of the ships that come in, because they don't want them in town. But he is friends with the bookseller there. And he's looking forward to getting together with his friends, sitting down, seeing what new books he's got. And whenever they meet up, whenever he's there, they meet up for a meal and trade stories. And Fergus will hang out in the books with the bookseller, with Percival. In addition to making sure that none of the crew and passengers get into trouble, and handling it if they do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, understood. So, we are making our approach soon. Is there anything we would like to do before we are in sight of the planet?
Fergus is going to ask Jackson if they have any plans for where they're going to sell their canned ham.
Oh, well, I was hoping to perhaps, I know that there's sometimes a bazaar. I was hoping to maybe get some stall space and perhaps, do a bit of trading there, if possible. But, permits.
I can handle that. I'll tell you what. I get a case of ham. I'll get you set up.
A whole case of ham. fine a whole case of ham. I mean, you also would handle the cat, right?
Well, I mean, I can't control what Trinket does.
Oh, I see.
I mean, I feed Trinket, but if Trinket comes to you, that's what Trinket's gonna do.
Right, of course.
I'll tell you what. I'll have another chat with Trinket. I'll have another chat with him. Tell him to kind of back off.
Oh, bless you, bless you, Fergus. Yes, of course. Yes, case of ham, and the cat, and talk to Trinket. Yes.
All right.
Gentle.
Holds out a hand for a shake.
Yes, of course.
Oh, sorry about that, Grease.
Oh no, don't. Oh, yes, the grease, of course. Oh, look, I got a burr stuck in my hand. I should go see. Rust about this. This is,
Yeah, you don't want that getting infected. Yeah.
It might get infected. You're so right.
Take care. I'll get to you when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you set up.
I think Levitt has at this point gotten dressed like in that very immaculate, like white blouse, like leather outfit. Her weapons are on her waist. Her axe is on her back. Like she's ready to go. And as she leaves her room, she's going to go find Fergus, like preferably alone. And she sees Trinket, and to Trinket, for her, she sees one of the like hairless Egyptian Sphinx cats type of thing. And she there's this moment where like Trinket's at one end of the hallway and she's at the other, and she looks at Trinket and just hisses at Trinket and it turns and walks away. And she goes to find Fergus and she's just like, a word, please, Fergus?
Sure, Miss Tig.
I was wondering if you had any leads on work when we get to Metaxas. A quick job just to get a little pocket money. I'm a little broke at the moment.
I mean, I don't have anybody I want to kill, so
I don't. No, you just you have other. I don't only kill people. You know this. I smuggle. I steal. I'm very versatile.
Yeah, I'll introduce you to one of the bartenders in the tavern, and yeah, he can get you. You can talk to him. He handles that kind of stuff. I stay away from the shady stuff.
Wonderful. I sort of blacked out at the last place, and my pocketbook is empty. Wonderful. Thank you, Fergus. I can always count on you.
Yeah, I'll make sure they keep you cut off too.
I didn't say that. I did not say that at all. No.
I mean, if you want to get left behind because you're blackout drunk in some gutter somewhere, that's on you.
I blacked out while spending money. I was so completely. It just, before I knew it, everything in my pocketbook was gone except the payment for you. I do always put that aside. I am responsible with that because I need a ride. I'm gonna go. I'll see you.
Yeah. You might want to tone that down a little bit. It ain't that kind of a place.
What do you mean? Tone what down?
What? Yes, that. Yeah,
what I'm wearing? My clothes?
Put something a little drab over it.
I don't.
Otherwise, your money's gonna go missing.
I don't. What do you think I own?
Well, I mean, your money might go missing again.
I have no money to go missing right now at the moment.
Well, they don't know that. They just see how you're dressed.
Oh, I can defend myself, right?
Yeah, and I'm the one that has to bail you out.
They won't catch me.
All right, well, you do you, Miss Tig.
Thank you. Yeah, she just sort of like gives a little salute and a smile and walks away to go wait for them to land.
All right. We have any other business before before we get there.
Yep, just pricking his hand on his layer opener. It's like, oh, Dr. Worsley, Dr. Worsley.
Oh yes.
I was trying to help Fergus. I'm terrible with these things, and I happened to get a small incision. I didn't want to get infected, as he shows you the oil covered hand with the very small prick on it, which
Okay.
Is there something I should do for it, or?
Wash your hand.
Very good, very good. Thank you. Thank you, you're too right.
I can provide a small bandage for you as well, if you deem that necessary.
I mean, only if you insist.
I'm not insisting anything.
Of course, I will take the bandage, Dr. Worsley. Yes.
The Band-Aid he gives you has, like, obviously bought on sale because it's like a children's Band-Aid with, like, cartoon characters on it.
Well, he hasn't noticed that at all. He's just happy he's got it.
Excellent.
I would like for Irina to come to the medical bay while Jackson and Rust are there. She smiles over, sees Jackson. Just the person I was looking for.
Oh, yes. Fates be damned. Good morning.
Now, what sort of greeting is that? Especially amongst two friends.
Yes, we are friends.
A difference in opinion is not something that we should let get between our friendship. How are you today?
I am much better after having a discussion with about infection prevention with Dr. Worsley.
Oh. A whole conversation with Dr. Rust. That sounds unusual. Mr. Mead, would you happen to know of some sellers of any sort of rare books?
Well, I could probably point you in the direction of some booksellers.
Excellent. Now, would these be reputable booksellers, or
Now hold on. What are you trying to say about anybody that I do business with, Miss Maynard?
All I am saying is that you have a wide variety of acquaintances, and I just wanted to know, should I be prepared to perhaps have my life risked for these books, or will I be relatively safe?
I think that you should be prepared to keep your eyes and ears open to the wide plethora of opinions that these books could bestow upon you.
Mr. Mead, I happen to have a very scientific brain and a very open mind, unlike you. So I would ask that you just please direct me to those booksellers.
Well, as long as we all keeping our eyes and ears open, I shall direct you there as soon as we touch down.
May I also encourage you to do the same? And she just flounces away.
Of course.
Delightful. All right.
It is like she's like the one person on the ship you can't be cordial to. It's like Mission Impossible.
Nice. So we're getting we are finding ourselves approaching this planet. And I think that so presumably Fergus has to be back in the on the bridge to make this happen.
Well, Fergus is like, oddly enough, in a lot of places. The bridge, the engine room, wandering a hallway.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Fergus is. If you go looking for Fergus, you're gonna find Fergus wherever you go looking for him.
I ask this just simply because it's one of those things where it's like, do you have a thing where it's like you've set the controls to just go into orbit, or do you have to be there to make that happen?
Oh, he's already told the AI what to do.
Okay. Yeah.
We're approaching Metaxas. You're going to take this orbit. We're going to dock here.
All right. Is it so is it currently is the AI taking the person of the captain or of the?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you had additional. Okay. So
Every once in a while, it wanders through Ms. Tig's room, and then back out towards the, and then because its stateroom is right next to the bridge,
yeah.
and it's the captain, that's its stateroom, but it's an AI, so it'll appear, walk through, under the bridge.
Do we have a? How do you currently want the captain to look generally? 'Cause I assume that's programmable.
I'm trying to
Or are you
think.
just using like a default setting with whatever shows
Yeah,
up?
it would be a default. Yeah, actually, it looks like his first captain.
Oh, okay.
From way back when, it looks like his first captain because that's the first person that he called captain.
Okay. Important question. How closely on this first captain is this captain modeled? Does he like speak the same way, or is it or is it like sort of amalgam of like look, or does it just like look like him?
It just looks like him.
Okay.
The speech is the default.
Okay. All right, I got you. Whatever they.
Because that was a little creepy. He tried it. It was a little creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's understandable. It's understandable. Okay. All right. So I think that everyone's going to hear over the ship's intercom. They're going to. Let me just check before I do this. Just want to check our equipment to see if there's anything else that would ping right now. No, we're good. We're good. I think shortly before you get there, you're going to get just sort of the little sort of pings from the anyone who passes by a panel that with a display. You'll see that you're now getting the local sector feeds from Torrens sector. And your ship is able to pick up. It's going to pick up the signal from Metaxas best, but because you have a state-of-the-art system for communications and tracking, you actually can get things from a little further afield if you want. Takes a tiny bit longer, but you can do it. And as you're approaching, you're going to hear coming over the intercom, just like, "This is your captain speaking. We are approaching Metaxas. You should be able to see it out the port windows. We'll be going into a standard orbit for about 15 minutes, and then pulling into the port. I hope you've all had a pleasant flight." Voyage. You'd probably say voyage. Who knows? Anyway.
The default voice is for the captain when it was a pleasure yacht.
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining. So, as you are, so you're going to pull in, and I'm going to show you a couple of images. This is not it exactly, but when you get down, when it's coming down, you're coming into an approach. You're going to see. I don't have an image of the planet. It's mostly rocky, very cold planet. You see, sort of the caps are quite extensive. A lot of sort of white and gray, but this nice little sort of narrow band along the equator. Very rocky planet, but there are areas where there are, as you're seeing it, where there are little sort of places where folks have set up homesteads, things of that nature. There are a few little patches of arable land. Not a lot of it, but there's some. Primarily, I think that given the terrain, a lot of folks are doing their best at either hydroponics or aeroponics, because this planet does have water. You got to thaw it out, but it has water. So you're going to see a number of little sort of fields with aeroponic towers on them, and they kind of this strange sort of, as you get closer as the planet, you come around the planet and you will see this area, this port that has been carved into this rocky hillside, mountainside, and that is the most built up thing. It is gargantuan for the number of people that are there now. There used to be more people here. This has been here for a very long time. I'm going to go ahead and show these pictures that I'm going to show you are to give you an idea of what this is. It isn't this exactly, like I said, but I'm going to go ahead and make those visible so that you can see, just to get an idea of the kind of thing I'm thinking, and of these of the spaceport. I actually let me grab the for the audience, should the audience wish to see them. I'm actually going to put them in chat. I'm going to put links in chat. These are, I'm not going to display them because that would because I don't have the rights to do that. But I can give you a link to the websites. And so we'll do that. So for anyone who wants to see kind of this thing, I'll put in chat here. So you have the outer area. Thinking of kind of like you have the port area, which is fairly big. You have this kind of outer ring where a lot of the business is done for people coming and going. And then you have the inner ring, which is much more built up and has these kind of like almost like these almost palatial structures, where the rich people live, and where the company building can be seen descending. This is this is Crown Mining, the Crown Mining Company, that has proliferated through a considerable number of sectors. It's ever since the sort of things shifted over to the mining of argillite for use in ships. Prior to that, like 100 years ago, used kind of like captive. You had let me see if I remember. Yes, you had the sort of little colliders, and you used sort of like you generated very small black holes, and that was not entirely safe. And it only really took one or two major accidents before we're like, hey, let's shift onto something else. I'll get more into detail about how that worked later if we need it. But we now use primarily pink argillite crystals to get from place to place. Though the good ones are the green argillite crystals if you can find them. Those actually use those. You can actually go faster than the black hole ships used to. But in any case, you are able to pull into this port. It is. This whole place has, somewhere relatively, around not quite 5,000 people on this planet. So the port doesn't have, masses of folks coming and going, but it's where you'll likely see the most people. You can see, so you're going to see this sort of crowd of 100 or so folks. I think that, I think that what we're going to see, as you are coming in, it's interesting that now, you're going to see sort of amongst the various folks who are here from a number of different sort of distant planetary colonies here doing their business is these different stalls, and it's what you'll be able to see soon. But you catch kind of a glimpse before you set down of cluster of folks kind of in they're kind of in robes, sort of flowy garments. You might, depends on if you're looking, but one or more of you might note that detail as you descend into the port. And and the ship docks. Everything seems to check out. Ship, the ramp opens up. I guess there's a ramp. I don't know. You can tell me. You're now free to go onto the planet.
There is a ramp. The ship's ADA compliant.
Rust. I was just gonna say, Rust is gonna wait until Levitt is gone before he leaves.
Just hanging out.
I just imagine Russ behind the corner, just waiting, just watching. Well, peeking
He's
his head
just
out every now and then.
Very chill, actually. Kind of leaning up against the wall, looking at his hands. Very casual, not checking around the corner at all, really.
Levitt finds out the name of the bar and the bartender from Fergus, and that's where she's gonna go. And she's just intending to drop Fergus's name.
Yeah, they'll script be here's a letter introduction, Fergus, and hands it to you.
And she just looks at her, she's like, all right. And then she just turns on her heel and leaves.
He's got class. He knows things.
It's not that she's like, this is really old fashioned, but okay. she's gonna go, yeah.
Is this letter is this made of paper or is this on?
I just imagine it's notarized too, probably.
It's just, whatever that will take ink or right, whatever you can use. It's just that's what it is. It's like scrap.
If
It
there
might
are,
even be a scrap piece of metal that's etched.
Gotcha.
yeah, if there were other passengers, then Jackson spends his time kind of glad handing and say, "Well, I hope you have a wonderful time on Metaxas." Just kind of like just smoothing things and greeting people as they disembark, and and seeing what people are doing as they go, and trying to make sure that he remembers what people are doing and people remember his face before packing up and going off himself.
Yeah. So, yeah, you get everybody disembarked. And
if Russ is still there, it's like, oh, she's gone to the bar.
yeah. That is.
Irina's like sneaking up behind them as Jackson's talking to Rust, so Rust can finally go. And Irina just kind of looks at Jackson and just says, "If you could please direct me in the."
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Just as he rolls out the canned hams, like as he turns back to the front, he rolls his eyes like.
So yeah, it's pretty much. So everybody off the ship just.
Yeah, Fergus is heading to the marketplace. They'll stop if they see Jackson and the others. He'll stop. He'll just kind of clap a hand on Jackson, and just come find me at the booksellers, Percival, my friend. I'll be with Percival, and I'll have you set up. Give me about an hour or so.
Of course.
Is the cat staying on the ship? I'm just curious.
Oh, he's had a little talk about the cat. The cat is on shore leave. The cat knows that that there's not to be blood brought back onto the ship.
Okay.
Happy hunting.
Okay.
And don't get drunk. It did not go well for you the last time.
I think it will bristle a little of that, but then will seems to resignedly go out to have adventures. So I'd like to start with Jackson because we don't have him for very much longer actually.
Jackson will go to the booksellers, drop off Miss Maynard, get his permits. He does all these things as quickly as possible.
Okay. So I need to see how that goes. So if you wouldn't, since you're trying to get all this done as quickly as you can,
it's really to get away from Irina part. Like, look, I've made the introduction. You can make all the purchases that you to your heart's desire.
I'd like you to act under
your mind's capacity.
Yeah. I'd like you to act under pressure for me, please.
Sure. What would you like me to roll?
And so that's roll plus balance. We shall have our first roll.
There it is. Oh, there it is. Plus balance. Should be able to just click my sheet, right, and it just does the thing.
Yeah, there should be able to click the little die under your balance score. There we go. Excellent. Okay. So that's a 4. And so this means that I have to make things worse now. So excellent. So I will tell you that as you are, so you make it to the bookseller to drop off Irina. That part is successful.
All right.
You are now running to go to find where to get your permits.
And a good day to you, Miss Maynard.
As you turn to head toward the permit office, there is actually I have an important question I need to ask real quick. Are you trying to get a permit just to sell things out here on the outer ring, or are you trying to get into the inner ring?
Whatever Fergus said he could hook up. So he doesn't even know where he's gonna be. So whatever Fergus said, I got you, man, for that case of hams. So wherever he was gonna go to get that.
Okay. Fergus, did you give Jackson directions of any kind?
Just told him to give him an hour and meet him at Percival's bookstall.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So
I see.
So yeah, he's
so
just
you have to
rushing.
So you have
he's
to
just
go
rushing around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. You're gonna have to make an orbit back to the bookstall, I think, probably to make this work. So as you're going to head out, you are going to find that you're going to see there are a number of these folks. As you're sort of looking, it's like, okay, that could be the permit office. So maybe I could just go there and find out what I need to find out before I go back and get whatever Fergus is taking care of, just in case. Just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Just in case. I trust Fergus, but also I just want to be sure. Not not that I don't trust him, but I do trust him. But also, I just
you're rolling around your inventory still, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So as you are doing this, you're gonna find that there is this group that seems to be barring your way to get to that area, and they're holding up signs. There are these people again in these long sort of robes. They're sort of light robes, I should say. They're not exactly. They're perhaps. Honestly, I'm going to need. This is kind of, I think, kind of important to me. I'm going to need Irina to tell me what these robes look like, because this is an offshoot of your religion.
Damn it all!
You can't ever get away from us.
This is a subsect, I will specify, but you can tell me where they're starting from.
So these folks, rather than believing in multiple gods the way that the others do, they believe in just one supreme god, and they wear the light gray robes because it symbolizes the ash from which humanity rose.
Okay. Him rewriting things in the back of his head for a moment. No, that's cool. So yeah, find these people in these gray robes, and they are the thing being, it's kind of important. I need to specify here. That you're going to see among them the one who seems to be talking the most and is trying to basically sort of block cordon people off and keep them from registering stuff. So I'm going to need to know. I need to know what I need to know now what Olivia looks like.
Olivia. Ugh.
Yes.
You know, she's the face of the lady yelling at you at the grocery store. She's kind of sour-faced. She doesn't put her cart back ever. You know. So she's thin, pretty severe looking. You can't even see hair. She has it completely covered. She's just like has some sort of head covering on, the gray robes, immaculate, very neatly dressed. She has a pretty shrill, loud voice. And she's fairly tall. So she stands out. She's very striking and very angry.
Excellent. Now, I'm going to adjust one slight detail here, if you don't mind terribly. And that is that they... These individuals also have these sort of blue armbands that they are wearing. To kind of sort of single out their very direct, particular devotion. So this woman, who the audience knows is named Olivia, is essentially sort of saying that and talking about the stranglehold that the market interests have on this planet, that space has been taken up by the company that is harming the planet and many others, countless other planets. And they demand that none shall pass through to do business with the company. And you see these people in these ashen robes, they're coming forward, kind of accosting you. And they're trying to get at your supplies of stuff. They're trying to get at the hams. What would you like to do?
I take a very deep breath. And I look at all of these people arrayed against me, against justice, against commerce, against enterprise, against men and women and goodwill. You insensate vagabonds. If I had to reincarnate aeon after aeon, torture 1,000 times would not be good enough for any of you. If you believe in a god and the world runs by its rules, then commerce and free will is here to smash its illusion. I say you get out of my way, good sirs and madams, before I call a good constable upon all of you.
It sounds like you're trying to intimidate another.
Yes.
So I'm going to need you to roll plus brawn, please.
Did I lose my roll 20? There it is.
Okay. Olivia will step forward, and with a single sweeping gesture, she will bring her hand around. You thought the hams were secure. I swear you did. But she has brought her hand out and is scattering them across the ground. They're slipping all over the place. They're behind people in the crowd, moving. The crowd is pushing forward, and she says, you are part of the problem. You have no power here. Go! Hams everywhere! And they're now
never once in his life has he wanted to kill someone.
And they're in a frenzy. This crowd's in a frenzy that's starting to try to move like a tide, to try to move you further and further away. And I know you're going to need to dive off in a moment. I want to be respectful of that. So is there anything you would like to do to as we're going to be panning away from you in a moment? But what would you like to, how would you like to react to this? What do we see?
I would like to try and manipulate the crowd and say, look how they take from the hungry, from those who simply wish to eat. And I'll try to make a roll plus beauty, I guess.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Where the hell must she go?
Ah, okay. So, let's see. Change the terms to suit themselves or demand concrete assurance first. So, you're trying to get the crowd, because there are merchants here that are trying to get through. There are other people trying to get through and push back, and they're looking around and they're like, well, yeah, they're going to change the terms to. Yep. Nope. All right. Yeah, you get them riled up, all right. And the merchants are like, you're right. And they are now pushing back. This has turned into a fight.
And then I duck out, like, not fighting anybody.
As you see, there's this big cluster, this big dust cloud almost of merchants fighting with these cultists, with these religious folk, as they're now moving and pushing. You no longer get sort of swept away, but yes, Jackson ducks out to try to escape the madness that he has just wrought. Do you need to dive off?
Yeah, I need to dive off, but that was great.
Feel free to let us know. Do you want to let us know where they can find you or anything like that?
Yeah, hey, I'm Hollow. You can find me on Blue Sky or Twitter as at Hollow Invective. You can find me roaming around Twitch on other people's channels. I guess I will just kind of announce that as it comes, and I'll be on the next episode.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Yay! Thank you so much. I think if we're good, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, a little bit of a break, and we will return shortly. Actually, I have an interview queued up. Let's do that. We'll be back shortly. See you soon. Welcome to the break. I have Dee with me, and we're going to talk about a game, a very specific game. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for having me back, Jim. I appreciate it.
Yay! So as of this recording, it's been not too terribly long since a campaign of yours that you have been streaming ended. You've been streaming on your channel, Praxagorth Esmophoria. And that game is called Carousel Court. For folks who may not be familiar, tell us a little bit about this game.
So Carousel Court is a game that, as I pitched to my players and everyone who participated tangentially in this game, it is a Southern Gothic urban fantasy set in a subdivision of Savannah, Georgia, spanning the year 1945 to the year 2000. And each of the players would be playing a house or family in this subdivision. And we would see the transition of over time of these relationships on a small micro level in this subdivision play out and how those things happen. And the bigger thing is the concept that the supernatural exists and all of human history is the same publicly up until 1941, when the advent of World War II is just so much that the supernatural can no longer hide. Just the embedded reporting, the mass shift, the way in which the world changed because of what happens during World War II. And how does that public appearance of the supernatural change the world and then also change the lives of these particular families? And to do that, I combined 2.5 different systems.
Yes. Which systems did you cannibalize for this?
So the majority of it is taken. The house system is taken from Swords Chronicle. The individual player individual members of the house were all also from Swords Chronicle, which is Green Ronin Press's setting agnostic system. I really like it for a bunch of things. I then took the Pendragon current edition. I think it's the 6th, whatever the current edition of Pendragon is, and used it for the generational mechanics. Pendragon is really great at showcasing, because you're playing a knight, but you're also playing all of the descendants of that knight in that noble household. So you kind of have this generational shift in how the effects of what the previous generations did affect the current generation.
Cool.
And then I took luck mechanics from Call of Cthulhu because I needed them for certain things.
Yes. Yeah, certain things would happen as because, well, look, this was a massive project. I need to that I need to make sure folks understand here. This project had a lot of moving parts to it. You had world building streams. You had folks. You had folks coming on doing news recordings, and to sort of set the era. You pulled in a lot of different folks for all of these different things. And I just wonder, how did you decide who to reach out to for these different parts of the project?
Some of it was just people. I'm really lucky in people who I know and who can do things. When it came to for houses for the NPCs, I'm like, okay, I need to populate an entire subdivision in Savannah. That would be a hell of a lot for me. But I know some really great storytellers and people like that. I can have them come on and we can do this as if they were creating an NPC house, have them create this NPC house and then give me this little bit of thing. It also gave me a way to create a more diverse NPC cast in a way that was very authentic. I reached out to people like DM Jazzy Hands and Arvandus and Cypher of Tyr, and a bunch of other people to kind of give this lived-in experience and understanding of certain things that I can't necessarily understand or experience. But at the same time, it really brought interesting dynamics to the world. Even if you didn't see everything that those characters were doing, like my good friend Pooja, I was like, look, Pooja, can you come here? I want to introduce a South Indian subcontinent family. Let's have some fun with this. Or, you know, and so it was a very kind of interesting mix and dynamics, and it meant that I had a lot of notes about making this world feel more lived in, and again, it's Savannah based on as it currently is, but the history has changed because of these supernatural beings that do exist. And so there was a lot of that going on at the same time. And then I was like, oh, wait, I know some really great people who do really great voiceover work, not voiceover work, but like you, Jim, thank you again for agreeing to do a couple of those news recordings. Chris Geary did a couple. I also reached out to Painting Pirate, Chris Canese, for the British, when we got to the assassination of John Kennedy. Needed to see a bunch of these things. And then I had, so those were pieces that were happening. And then there were a bunch of other people that I was just like, hey, can you, I want to do this thing. Let's do this thing and see what happens. And as I've been saying to a lot of people, it's a very indie art house TTRPG experience.
Yeah, definitely. And you had Hawkeye doing commercials from like
Hawkeye
every era.
Hawkeye was like, I want to do this. And I was like, I will happily let you. Do you want to? Cool. And then that also led to a lot of conversation between us about, well, what other things history had changed. Like, okay, you've got magical users who can do a lot of things. Yeah, I'm sure they can make you some kind of tobacco that isn't going to be harmful to your health.
Yeah.
What does that change in history? And what is that, marketing arrangement going to be? And then Hawkeye did a brilliant job with all of them. And then halfway through, he started getting his daughter into doing a couple of the voices. And Bonnie just knocked it out of the park. They are absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
And I think that they did a brilliant job between them.
Yeah. Great. No, that's just so I made sure I say this. It's KY Hawkeye, Kentucky Hawkeye, who also streams.
Yeah.
A lot of us also basically a lot of the folks do that are sort of were pulled from the streaming world. I know that I will say that there was one point in one of our recordings that we started talking about lore and got way up into the trees. And, it's.
I mean, like there are things that none of the players are ever going to see that I know about that affected the world, because I made each of these decisions for each of the. We would do these time skips, and we would do like 1945 to 1948, then 52, 55, 58, 62, 65, 68, 72, etc., etc. And that meant that you were jumping between 2 and 3, or about 3 to 5 years each time, right? 3 or 4 years each time. And because of that, I needed to know effects, like what would have happened on the world stage, but that doesn't necessarily mean it would affect the players on the small scale, right? Unless it seriously did affect them. And so a lot of the stuff that happened in the background, I would be talking with the opera geek, Kelly. And I'd be like, hey, what do we do about this? And she goes, no, we should do this. And I was like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. And if we take that, we should go over here. And so it really was a benefit to kind of bounce think about these in progression, but then also bounce them off of people at the time. And thank you for your assistance in that.
I'm very pleased that we developed an entire strange history that involved for the character that I portrayed, and that we have just somehow in that timeline utterly disrupted Tom Brokaw's life, probably. But just given the placement of everything, I don't know. He's probably okay. I don't know.
He's fine.
He's fine. But there's so much. There was so much. But what lest we get up into the trees again, I do want to ask. Also, or rather, I will say, not too long ago before this conversation, I was chatting with Pope, who was one of your players, and I sort of hinted that I may be asking you some questions in a bit. And one of the things also that he wanted me to make sure that I asked about here, Savannah. What led you to choose Savannah? Do you have a particular history with it? Why Savannah?
I did live in Atlanta for a long period of time. A lot of people might know that. I did live in Atlanta. I no longer do, but I did. I know a lot of people in Savannah. One of my good friends from college in Atlanta, her family had land on Tybee. Let me rephrase that. Let me repeat that. Her family had land on Tybee. For those of you who don't know, Tybee is the barrier island. That's the beach island off of Savannah, and is mostly home now to a bunch of like high-end resorts, hotels, lots of serious money. So I knew a lot about Savannah, but it was also one of the things that I was kind of having as this touchstone media that I was consuming to consider, right? Because there's a very particular type of Southern Gothic and in urban. There are two types of urban fantasy in my mind. There's Southern Gothic, and then there's very metro, kind of Chicago-y, slightly New York, big city kind of northern city urban fantasy. Not a lot of urban fantasy on the West Coast kind of oriented, but a lot of it like that Southern Gothic and whatever. And so I was like, okay. So I was going through and rewatching, and this whole thing actually started because I was, had a brilliant idea, and then I talked to people at 2:00 in the morning, and that brilliant idea became more complicated. But then like my touchstone theme and vibes came from rewatching 4 things. Steel Magnolias, because of just the progression of time and how those characters, like, that each of the times you see these characters that they've changed and aged, but you know that these have been year jumps, but you don't necessarily need to know what has happened in those years because you know what's focused on these particular moments. And those particular moments are what's telling this story, right? Like, and you're like, why is she, whatever, I'm here for it. And it worked. So you got Steel Magnolias. Then you've got one of my other favorite films, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, which is just a vibe of how things worked. It's also a very interesting look. And it's like, okay, this is a real thing that happened. Like this story actually happened. Oh yeah, and by the way, he went on trial for the same murder 4 times.
Yeah.
And was finally acquitted for liability. Okay. That's a thing. So I was thinking about excuse me. So I was thinking about where would it be interesting to set this kind of urban fantasy? And I had previously done a Vampire the Masquerade game set in New York. I was like, okay, so I don't want to do a big city or northern urban center kind of game. And I want to do something that's very much a city, but you can still have bounded suburbs. And I wanted a building development that you could go from 1945 to 2000. So I was like, okay, well, in that case, I'm going to go Southern Gothic because I really like the, Interview with a Vampire, the Vampire Lestat, that kind of vibe tied to, Midnight of Garden, Good and Evil, Steel Magnolias, all that kind of stuff. And all of that kind of was Savannah. I was like, we're just going to go to Savannah. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And I think it worked out beautifully. This was a lot of fun to watch. And I'm very honored to have gotten a chance to participate in it. And I really urge folks to go and check it out. If folks want to find this campaign that you that you and all of these folks put together, where should they go?
You can go on my YouTube at Praxagora Thesmiophoria on YouTube. It is a playlist. You can even start with the original house building and go all the way through the year 2000. The only episode that is not currently up is 1972. It is currently being worked on because editing software hates me.
Yes.
But hopefully it will be up there eventually. And they're in order and labeled. But I think it's a very interesting experience, and I appreciate everyone who is a part of it.
Awesome. Well, was there anything else you wanted to let us know before we dive off?
You can find me streaming every Saturday on my channel on Twitch for book clubs every week, where we talk about the books that I've been reading, and also we're doing a read along of the Cotton Malone series by Steve Berry and the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. And you can also find me on Sunday nights, where I stream my own TTRPGs, depending on whether it's streaming. You know, always streaming games. It's fun.
Yes, excellent, excellent. Well, thank you all very much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and throw things back to my future self, whatever he's up to. But thanks so much for hanging out with us. Take care. We will see you all of a sudden. we have returned, and we are back at the at the port of Metaxas. But before this brawl breaks out, that is in the process of breaking out, I would like to see what the other folks have been doing. So I'm going to shift over to Rust. You wanted to go get supplies, is that right? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, I'm meeting up, going to a clinic of a friend, a colleague of mine, in order to restock on supplies.
Excellent. Okay. So I kind of imagine this clinic is a little removed from kind of where everything is.
Yes.
Is it so far removed that like you have to get like a shuttle out there, or is it just, or can you walk it?
You can walk it, but I feel it's one of those places that you need to know where it is in order to get there. And even if you're looking at where it is on the street, it doesn't have any obvious signage. Maybe it's even half in the basement where you have to go down a level to get into it, and it's small and very out of the way.
Yeah. So yeah, you basically have so you're down into the basement area. You see the under area on the outer ring of this place. It's this is not necessarily the safest of places to walk, but it's it's okay, relatively speaking. And you're heading to the clinic of Dr. Stoppard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you get there, you can hear this sort of, I need to know, have you witnessed Dr. Stoppard doing anything that might be considered a problem?
Medical malpractice.
Yes, things like that.
Definitely.
Okay.
For sure.
So as you're approaching is when you're kind of there's this light keening that you realize let me check a thing. Let me check a thing before I start describing this. Okay, all right. There's this light keening that you hear that's like, you realize after a bit it's sort of that you've heard this sound before, as it's the sound of someone sort of distantly crying out in pain that someone makes when they're asleep and they're dreaming about something terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Yeah. You, so you know that there's kind of a thing in progress. I imagine that basically you have this sort of dingy sign that's up on the side of the clinic, swinging back and forth. That has sort of the snaky, or no, not the snaky, but the medical symbol that has a medical symbol on it, wreath-like symbol. The front door is open.
Naturally.
Are you going in?
There is no other course open to me.
Okay. There is no one in the waiting room right now. You have sort of this outer, sort of dingy office with a table, a few chairs, a couple of them overstuffed, and rapidly bleeding stuffing. And there's a counter, and there's a tiny monitor up on the wall that's cracked and is playing some sort of sporting event. And after a moment, sort of there's this keening yell that's like stops, and it sounds like there's more sort of gasping and half sobbing going on, and you will see for a moment sort of leaning in from the side beyond the window. You'll see Dr. Florence Stoppard, who I believe you described as having sort of wrinkled white hair type deal. Is that right?
Yes, I like to imagine kind of Tilda Swinton-esque.
I had the same thought.
Okay. Good.
And so basically sort of leans in and just for a moment, and just sort of lifts this these goggles, just sort of the hair is kind of going all over the place right now. Oh, hello, Russ darling. Yes, could you just give me a moment? Just got to finish up. I'll be right with you. Good to see you.
You better be careful.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
With what you're doing, you could lose your license for that.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
Doctors are not known for doing harm.
And he's like, oh no, it's all for the greater good. One moment. and she pops back around the side, and then it kind of you hear sort of everything sort of kind of over the next few minutes, everything sort of subsides, and you see this. You see a door opens and this patient comes out. Looks like sort of very rough. It's got like a set of overalls that are kind of or a jumpsuit type thing that's open. You can see his shirt underneath. He's sort of trudging out, like. And you can see that he's leading him out, and he says, "Now, Now just give it a few days, all right? Yeah. Thank you, Doc. Appreciate it. You'll be fine. And you see he's kind of limping a little, and she's like, "Stay off it if you can." I can today, and tomorrow I got to go back in. All right, well, just try, if you would, please. Please? Message received, Doc. Thank you. All right. Find things to occupy your time over the next 24 hours. Sort of, has got like a rag just sort of wiping down a little bit. He nods. It's out. Well then, and you see basically, she basically has the sort of the long coat, and is not wearing the smock that you briefly saw when he came around the corner first. And we'll step forward. Is Florence aware of whether or not Rust is a huggy person?
Very much aware that he isn't, and still does not
does
care.
it anyway. All right.
Yes.
And so we'll step forward. Delighted to see you, and we'll try sort of wrap you in a reluctant embrace.
And Rust's like,
you got time? You got a few minutes? It's just sort of idly pulling back, touching your shoulder, if you permit.
I was going to ask you for a few minutes of your own.
Great. Want a shot? And she'll just sort of turn around and walk back into the back, assuming the answer is yes. Whether it is or not,
follow.
He assumes that it is. You see in the back of the back of the clinic. You've been in here before. A couple of rooms. And there's sort of a break room. She is heading to the break room. Do you look in the patient room before you go through, or no?
Yes, I take a peek.
Okay. So hang on. I need to decide if you're just going to see a thing, or if I need to read a die roll like tea leaves. No, we're good. We're good. You're going to see this. You're going to see that it's a little haphazard, but then everything Florence does is a little haphazard. But you see sort of the operating table, which is really more of a recliner type deal, and the sort of the trays with implements on them. And you see basically sitting on a shelf, not a shelf, a wide shelf opposite, you notice a couple of little bottles of some sort of white liquid that are sitting in a nice little row. There's 4 of them that are sitting opposite and on the sort of the shelf opposite, just sort of in the area where you would have been working. You see this big kind of machine next to near where the head of the patient would be. That looks like it's got kind of an apparatus that you put on the head. And there's some tubes running back and forth between that and the machine. Little sort of long tubes. And there's no blood. or anything like that. But that's roughly what you see in there.
Would I be able to recognize on site what the white liquid is, or would I need to go up closer to investigate?
If you'd like to make the estimate from here, then I would recommend... It's funny because this is, yeah. No, we don't really have anything for it. So, and this isn't really a high pressure situation necessarily. She's not going to care. You'd probably need to go up and look at it to be sure of what this is. Right now, your suspicion is, just from everything you're seeing, is the white stuff has been extracted from the patient.
Yes. Well, that was my assumption.
Yeah. You also will see, you will note near the there's been stuff for I'm trying to think if there's no, you wouldn't have a lot. You wouldn't have a lot out necessarily. It's like a box of foam foot supports is sitting open nearby. That seems so. It seems like more than one thing was happening here. But that's mostly what we're seeing right now.
I would like to inspect the liquid.
Okay, you're gonna go up and take a look at this liquid. If you would like, you may read a situation. Otherwise, I will give you clinical details. You're gonna get the clinical details either way.
I will not roll.
Okay.
I will pass the roll.
All right. You're looking it over, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is. How long are you going to take looking at this stuff?
I think it's, for Rust, it's like, what has the doctor done now? Where
Okay.
it's like, I just need to figure out what the liquid is.
Yeah.
Briefly. Like, if I can't recognize it within, say, under a minute, he's just gonna put it back.
Your specialty is surgery, correct?
Yes.
The thing that you note about the liquid, just based on what you've been able to put together real quick, you don't know exactly what it is, but this isn't stuff that you that a person is just going to, unless they're seriously injured, this stuff isn't going to just come out of them. You gotta drill for it. You gotta go in for it. From the look of the machinery, real quick, if this extracts something from somewhere in the head.
Yeah.
The stuff in the vials, probably from somewhere around the brain. It's probably some kind of brain fluid. There's some kind of there is some kind of thing that's coming. You don't know which part of the brain, so you don't know exactly what the fluid is or what it does, but it's something from in the dome.
Right. I put it back, and I follow the doctor into the break room.
Okay. Dr. Stoppard has poured a couple of shots of whiskey.
That's a liquid I can determine on site.
And which you absolutely. And has set one out for you. And He's sort of leaning back. Oh, glad you found your way at last.
I do the shot.
It
What
stings
caliber of
delightfully.
whiskey is it?
It's not great.
Okay.
But it is what it lacks in what it lacks in flavor. It makes up for in agony.
I thought you were gonna say it makes up for an alcohol content.
That too.
Okay. Well, yes. I see you've been dabbling in neurosurgery.
Just a touch to keep things going. Have to. It's becoming more important, strangely enough. There's a lot going on. I have to deal with.
Well, if there's not a lot going on, I'm sure that you will create some interest for yourself.
Oh, no, there's quite a few things going on. But, it's a problem that, I don't know if you know this, but this place is kind of a powder keg.
Most places are.
Apparently. Oh, yeah.
Listen. May I consult you not as a friend, but
Oh, dear.
as a practicing doctor?
Oh, that sounds quite serious.
Perhaps.
You all right, Rust? Granted, I know
don't
that's a very
know.
loaded question whenever I ask you it, but if you can give me the highlights.
Let me show you. And he's going to start undressing. And as he starts undressing, you can see that the veins in the vessels of his skin on his chest have turned black. And the more he undresses, the worse it looks. Now, I don't know about you, but it looks bad, doesn't it?
Before I have the doctor react, I'm just gonna need to remember here. Can you remind me what this is that we're looking at?
Oh, I'm springing this on you. This is a surprise.
Yes. Excellent. Good. I feel as though the
I
Florence
don't know
would
what it
probably have
is.
an idea what this is, and so I'm just trying to figure that out.
Well, I'm going to tell you that, what Russ is going to tell you is that he thinks it's alien.
Okay.
Because nothing he's tried has done anything to make it go away.
Gotcha. Okay, good. Let me see here. Wait, let me look quickly at a thing I wanted to check on. Excellent. Okay, good. Well, that certainly doesn't belong.
My thoughts exactly.
My God. All right.
Have you seen it
And,
before?
I've seen something like it.
Very reassuring.
Have you been in contact with anyone or anything that is a markedly different recently?
If I had, do you think I would be here asking you?
Well, I do have a way of taking a look. Of course, we can take a look at it and see if we can make a determination. Mind if I take a sample?
Is it a standard sample or is it your kind of sample?
She sort of mildly smiles. Well, let's start with the one, and I'll let you know if we need to lead into the other.
Very well then. Take your samples.
All right, come on. And she will lead you to another patient room. And there he will pull out needles and things of that nature, and sort of magnifiers. Do a few scans. Kind of standard thing. So there's a lot of please sit still going on. There's a lot of sitting still that has to happen over this period of time as samples are grabbed and things are determined. And yes. I feel as though this might warrant acting under pressure.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So, your falter, buckle, or break, the GM can offer you a worse outcome, a hard bargain, or an ugly choice. So, I have a little potential bargain for you here. This is going to be a great deal. This is going to be a great deal.
Okay, what's the deal?
So, there are two ways I see this possibly going right now. Mm-hmm. One way is that, and it's up to you to decide which of these is worse. One way is from what from what he's able to get right now off of these readings. Either it's going to be currently inconclusive and will take time, an indeterminate amount of time to sort out. But perhaps we'll give you a little bit of information. The other option is that we are able to find out immediately exactly what this is, and it is going to be terrible.
I take the second option.
Okay, just checking. I would like to make absolutely certain. I briefly, allow me if you will, I need to rename something really quickly. Because alas, something got shifted. So let me just grab this. And let's see. Okay. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. And let me find the name of the thing. I'm just clicking through the thesaurus real quick just to make sure I can grab something.
Pernicious is a really good medical prefix that I've found.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's that in and of itself is nice. Let me see. Oh. Yes. All right. So, yeah. None of these are going to do, so I'm going to stick to generic terms for now.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Can I help? Do you have anything?
Yes, can you give me a word that isn't ashen?
For what?
That isn't ashen? Oh.
Like
but that also doesn't.
Pallid,
That doesn't.
yeah.
That doesn't. That sounds suitably. That sounds suitably badass, but is not. But is just. And perhaps is in that realm somewhere. But is just a different word from ashen.
Yeah.
Sallow, wan, white,
Sallow's a good one. Sallow.
pasty, colorless, cadaverous, blanched.
Cadaverous.
Mm-hmm.
Bloodless.
Slightly
Yeah.
different. Oh, you know what?
Pallid is a good one.
I was thinking about
Wand.
fire more than anything else, but that's
Fire.
yeah.
Oh. Fire
Burnt.
with
Welcome to the thesaurus hour.
There's like florid, like when you're like really
Yes.
red.
Yeah. That's all right. We will workshop that later.
Like incinerated?
Yeah.
Like that kind of ashen?
Are we like describing
Yeah.
a person?
Charred?
No.
Scorched?
Sort of. That's okay. We're getting closer. Let me just hang on. I got to change the other word because
Necrotic.
We're getting closer.
Necrotic.
Okay, hang on.
Sanguine.
Hang on. Yeah. All right. Yes. Okay. Yes. All right, we're good.
We can imagine that in this time where we've been figuring out
Yes.
what this thing is the time that Dr. Stoppard has been looking through like the microscope and like
Oh yeah.
moving through, doing like stains and stuff, doing all this medical work.
It's entirely possible. That's entirely possible. Man. This is still going to... Hang on. D. Yeah. We'll go with that. No, that's not good.
It's scurvy too.
It's alright. It doesn't matter. Everything is fine. So... So he's gonna take the thing and he's like, so I'm curious to know who it is you have upset recently. Well, actually not even recently, it's been a while. You upset anyone within the last, a few years in particular? It's a bit of a broad question, isn't it?
And fortunately, the answer is too many to count.
Yes, I was afraid that was the case. Well, the good news is I have an idea what this is.
And
news-
I'm assuming that is all the good news you have.
That's it. That's the entirety of the
Yes.
good news. Rust. It's insidious because it's a type of poison. That takes a very long time to come to actually come to this point. I don't think you've got long. Sorry.
I feared as much.
It's not something we actually, you see, it's rather interesting. It's something we don't have we don't really see very often. It's not exactly a virus. It's there are certain organizations that use it as a means of controlling their people, from what I understand. And I know you're not in any of those, at least as far as I know. So, how this would have happened, how you would have gotten this, I can't say. You, need another hit? You need another shot?
Perhaps.
All right. And she'll go. She's going to grab in the next room and grab the bottle, and he'll bring it back. And just set the bottle out and be like, it's just say it's something that I've not seen for a very long time. And so there's not really much in the way of effective treatments. I could give you some things to try to stave it off. Ultimately, though, it's going to overcome those because that is part of what it does. It figures out what's being used against it and heads it off.
How much time do you think?
Weeks, probably. If on the low end, maybe months.
Even with treatment?
We can get up to months, probably. But unfortunately, there's nothing that I am aware of that can fix this. But if you can find whoever it was that did this to you, there could be an antidote. And there's this sort of tacit understanding, I think, that you realize that he's mixing medical terms to a certain extent, but it's the best way that you can sort of describe what it is that's going on here, because it's like it's not exactly a poison, but it's also not exactly a virus. It's kind of somewhere in between. Which the implication being a thing perhaps not generated by humans. We're not sure.
Rust is going to button up his clothes again, taking a long time, and then he's gonna pick up the whiskey bottle and just take a swig directly from it and set it down again. Well, I also have some supplies that I need to get from you. Perhaps you could include whatever you think will help alongside with them.
Yeah. Certainly I can do that.
Thank you.
And there's a point where he's turning to get the stuff and he stops for a second and then turns and is like, "It is against my better judgment to mention this. I'm going to anyway. As I said, I only have so many resources, and I will give you what I can here. I can give you someone's name, but that might have that too. Well, definitely has deeper pockets on this, but there may be a price. But he has much vaster resources than I do, and might be able to help with something like this if I call in a favor. Again, I'm only talking right now about extending. I don't know how much he's going to have in the way of resources to actually cure this, but it is a thing I can call in. Potentially.
And what kind of price are we speaking of?
Well, he might want you to do certain kinds of work. I've helped him out a time or two. And if if I send you to him and he knows that you're coming from me, then he could try to offer access to things that he has inside the ring, in the inner ring.
Do you think that would make a difference?
Darling, honestly, I couldn't tell you, but it very well might. You see what I have to work with here.
I do.
He has more to work with than I do. If you're looking for a second opinion.
Thank you for all your help.
And she will turn and start assembling the stuff.
All right.
Do you? Are you taking the name or no? I just want to know.
I will take the name.
Okay. The name that he gives you. Let me move over here. Just to be clear what it is we're looking at. Yes. The name is which side of the fence do I want you to land on here? No, she'd point you in the other direction. Coy Shackley.
Coy Shackley?
Yeah, first name Coy, last name Shackley. Have you been to this planet? You've been to this planet before.
Oh, yes.
Coy Shackley he's not hugely high profile, but is known. He is a rep for Crown Mining. The Crown Mining Company.
Okay.
And is, in theory, also supposed to be a physician. But that's, mostly he's a PR related person.
Great. Excellent.
And just so that I will know, where are you planning to head after you are done here?
Well, probably back to the ship to put the supplies away.
Okay. Let's shift over. And take care of some more things. Let's see, I know that ultimately we've got a couple of people who are going to be ending up at the library. So first I will check in with Levitt, if we may.
That's me.
Where did you want to head?
To the bar to meet the person that Fergus told me about to look for a little bit of work.
Okay, great, yes. You are looking for work.
I have my little notarized piece of paper that says, "Hey, trust her." Fergus sent me.
Do not let her open a tab.
Oh,
she has no money.
Exactly. Don't let her open a tab.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, let me go ahead and generate a human bartender. I have it. Okay. This bartender's name is Grace Jansen. And let's see. Oh, yes. So
I definitely walk in.
This is an out. Just to be clear, this is like an outer ring bar. So it's It's the name of the pub is the Forsaken Resolve.
Amazing. Is it like a rundown type of like salty dog type of pub?
A little bit, yeah.
Love it. No, I like genuinely love it. Would love it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very it's very kind of your kind of place.
She does look out of place 100% because of her outfit, but she loves it. Like immediately loves the vibes.
Oh yeah. It's this is wait, I have this ready. So you're heading in. And you got a lot of folks in here who are from kind of cargo vessels. A lot of sort of toughs show up here quite a bit. And a lot of folks in leather, tattoos, the usual. It was a bit dingy. There's a big kind of thing that looks kind of like a some kind of an octopus is over the bar. Sort of a stuffed octopus looking thing. It's from some planet that is probably not in this sector. Or if it is, then it's just, large. There's probably an ocean planet not terribly far away where you can find things like this. So you're going to walk in. You're going to kind of sort of you're kind of getting the vibe of this place. It seems comfortable, of the sort of thing you've come to. You've become accustomed to over the last few years. As you're stepping in, you will see behind the bar, similarly tattooed, is someone with sort of a shock of bluish black hair, cut short, and she's wearing just basically sort of a black and silver tank top type deal, and is serving drinks rather rapidly.
I walk up and I'm like, hello, I'm looking for
Yes.
Grace.
Right, one sec. And she will quickly pour all manner of things, and turn around and come over to you. Right, what can I get you?
She pulls the piece of paper out of their shirt and unfolds it. Fergus sent me.
Oh. And she'll take a look. Ah. She will nod. And she will take the paper reverently. And there is some kind of a stamping machine behind the bar that she just puts the paper in and does that, and folds it up and will hand it back to you.
Right? Just folds it back, tucks it into their shirt. I'm here because Fergus said you might have some work. I am well versed in many types of jobs. I'm very versatile.
Oh.
I'm Levitt Teague, by the way.
And Fergus, did you put Levitt's name on the paper?
I just said Ms. Teague.
Ms. Teague. Okay, all right. Oh, so you're that Teague.
My reputation probably precedes me.
Well. She's kind of bopping a little bit to the music while thinking about it. Let me check the board real quick. And she will spin around, and she does something on a monitor behind her. It's kind of moving things back and forth, pressing, putting things in. It's a touchpad type deal. She steps back for a second, sort of looking at it, like, and she says to you, kind of looks back over her shoulder at you, and it's like, well, it's a little slow at the moment, and then there's a little ping from behind her, and she turns and she looks, and she's like, huh.
In this interim where she's turned around, Levitt has somehow found a shot on the bar. And
oh yes, they're right there.
Slowly sipping. Slowly sipping it. Just slowly like, yes. Mm-hmm. Something interesting.
Ah. And she turns around and will say, I need to ask you something.
Perhaps I'll have an answer for you.
Do you... Now, how are you with, dangerous clients?
They're my favorite.
Oh, well. You're gonna have hit the jackpot here, love. And, she will turn and, sort of plug in a little thing, sort of, and pull it out of the from the monitor. And she'll turn. She's holding this little. It's. How do I describe this thing? It looks kind of like a little jump drive, but it's actually got kind of a button on the side, so it's more of a pager type deal, almost looking deal. And she will hold it toward you and say, now, someone wants someone with your exact skill set. I've always learned to be a little bit wary when something like this pops up so suddenly, so I just wanted to tell you that ahead of time. When you press this button, it cannot be unpressed. But, decide you want to. Just any time within the next 2 hours, if you want this, you should probably be in one of the booths over there and press the button.
You have any information on the client?
And she'll lean forward and say, the reason it's in this format is because I can't say much. Someone who's a big deal.
All right. She'll take it. Thank you, guys. Wonderful doing business with you. And
Of course.
she takes it takes 2 of the shots, goes over.
She's
to the
just
booth.
letting you do it.
Yeah. She's not. I mean, even if she wasn't letting me, she was gonna do it anyway.
Well, yeah,
walks over
but
to
in this case, it seems very clear that the opportunity to make this trade is absolutely makes any shots you take absolutely fine with her right now.
She walks over to the booth that Grace pointed out, sits down, stares at the little like pager thing for a moment, gets like this. I hate to use it, but the best way to describe it is like a Joker smile on her face, takes the 2 shots, and then presses the button.
Okay. A thing is going to happen, but it won't happen immediately, so I'm going to shift over now. For just a minute. We need to check out the bookstore so that we can be ready, so that we can know what's happening at the bookstore. So we're going to head over, and this bookstore is on the outer ring. It's pretty. I think it's one of those things that's kind of. I'm imagining kind of a hole in the wall type place that you have to like sort of.
Oh yeah.
Look for. No.
Yeah, it is. It's very hole in the wall. It's a door into a building down like 2 steps, like if you were doing a basement or a garden apartment. And unless you know what you're looking for, you're gonna walk right past it and have no idea.
Okay. So I know that
Keeps
I know
the
that Fergus
tourists
was
out.
eventually going to end up there, but I know that Arena was brought there immediately. If I recall the last 2 hours correctly. And Fergus, you were out like getting supplies and stuff beforehand. Is that right?
Renewing contacts and that
Renewing
kind of thing.
Okay, gotcha. I'll circle back around to you in a moment. So Arena, you have when you step through, it is kind of like walking into the past because there are shelves with physical books on them. It's like, and they're everywhere, crammed into this space, like a dusty old library. In some ways reminiscent. Some of these books look kind of similar in some ways to the ones that are on the library on the ship, which also has physical books. But a lot of these look older. Rarer.
Ooh.
We're sitting somewhere halfway between, used bookstore and antiquarian bookstore, I think, with this. And so sitting behind this this counter, sort of enshrined with, everywhere you look, there are book spines, basically, in this place. Every wall. There is not a bare patch of wall in here, is what I am telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And behind this desk, you see a person, sort of older fellow, balding, with wearing glasses, and a big fellow smoking a pipe, looking over something. And he kind of will look up for a second. How can I help you?
And Irina very carefully worked her way through the books up to him. Hello, good day. A lovely collection you have here.
It's all right. You're smoking the pipe.
Did you know that the smoke from your pipe is actually very detrimental to the storage and well-being, the preservation of these older books?
Give some character.
It gives them staining.
In the book trade yourself, are you?
I am a scientist interested in the preservation of such historic treasures such as books.
You tried touching any of them yet?
You saw me walk in. No.
He sort of gestures. Hey, you want to hand me that volume over there real quick?
Certainly. And Irina actually takes out gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Looks at him. Awkwardly, she puts her gloves on and then grabs it.
Your hand passes through a field. sort of warm
Oh.
as before it reaches the book, and then the book's there. You know, it's not that the book isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like this invisible field that you note suddenly. It feels kind of tingly when your hand passes through it. And as you're looking more closely, you realize not a speck of dust is getting on any of these.
Ah. Interesting. What is this?
I am not a Luddite, he says. As you may note. Well, and he says,
Give me.
now that, is, it's a morality play, I think, what you have there. But, the technology is not that. The technology is not really that complex. We've had it around for a while, you know. Sort of gently keeps out things that might disrupt or stain the pages over time.
Very interesting use of good technology. I can appreciate that. So that men can keep their vices.
Well, I mean, if you have it, what else could it be for? It's never underestimate the value of a good vice. That's what I say.
Certainly.
That's can you remind me how Irina is dressed? Is she obviously a religious person, or is it not that obvious?
I think she looks mostly just like really well put together. Maybe there's that question of is she just like wholesome and a little plain, or is this religious, right? Like just on the cusp of not quite sure. It's not obvious like the people in the gray robes.
Yeah. Okay. So you I presume you've are you here just to browse, or is there something specific you're looking for?
Well, I'm always interested in all of these somewhat ancient texts, but particularly interested in the history of the colony and advances in technology, and if there are any books specifically on the Space visitors.
Ooh. You want the deep visitor lore, do you?
Yes.
Now. That now. Rather a broad topic. I need to know what direction to point you in, eh?
Honestly, any books, just to peruse to start.
Hmm. Says, all right. He gets up from behind the counter and a stout fellow. He moves around, but he moves around the stacks remarkably gracefully. He will move. He'll take you back through a few shelves and point into sort of a smaller sort of alcove area. He's like, so history's this side, theory's this side. And, mythology in between.
Thank you. I will take a look and let you know if I need anything further.
Very good. He says, yeah, you just give a shout. I'll be back. I'm not going anywhere. And he turns and we'll head back to his lair, his shrine. Are you about to look through the books? Is that what we have happening?
Yes, she is going to search through the books to find any about, if she can gather enough to find things about the alien visitors, aliens, whatever. She's going to call them the visitors.
Of course.
And then, like the history of the colony, like the founding of it. Mm-hmm. She wants to look between the lines and see anything about beyond the humans. Were there other things that seem perhaps not fully explained that may have happened or been built that the humans should not have really been able to do single-handedly? So she's going to try to look for these things and find some sources of that information.
I've got, I have a question for you. It's an important question because I'm going to have you make a roll in a moment, but I need to know which side of your brain you're doing this with. I need to know if you are going meticulously through, if you are, looking at things, taking notes, specifically to, if that's your guiding principle here, where it's like you're categorizing, or are you trying to feel your way?
She will initially use precise scientific rigor, right? And then if that doesn't work, then she'll just feel it.
Okay, we can play it that way. So I need you to read a situation. You're gonna be rolling plus brain.
All right. Am I doing it now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. So
You messed up your modifier in that. It messed it. Yeah. That would have
Yeah, it
been
looks
a
like-
10. It would have
Yeah,
been
that's actually probably like either a 10 or a 12.
Yeah.
So,
Oh. Okay.
because let me look at the thing.
Oh.
Yeah, it would have been a 12 actually.
Yeah, you roll play. Yeah, your
See,
brains
on
is
roll
too.
20.
Yeah,
These modifs
remove
you
the-
have to specifically put them in.
yeah.
Oh.
Remove the plus sign. There you go.
Okay.
The
Well, how do I
minus
know
sign
that
in
one's
front of
negative?
bronze still stays, but yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. I was like, damn, how'd I get a 0?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll read minus signs, but then plus signs mess it up.
Okay.
Okie doke. Yeah. I don't. Well, hang on. Did you have a move for this, by the way, or is this? Okay. Folks, also, if I call for moves, also let me know if you happen to have a better move, on your sheets. But I don't know if the scholar has anything in particular for this, but I should be looking at that. But of course, my brain goes
Outsmarted.
in 90 directions. Outsmart? No, you're not trying to outsmart anyone here. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are reading a situation. You got a 10 plus, so you get to ask 3 questions from the read a situation list. You need to.
Find the list.
And if you need, I'll go ahead and post the list in thing, but it's also in the. It's under the PDFs, but it's also just you have the. Which we have the PDFs also in Roll20, or the
see.
basic moves at least, if you want to look there.
Wait, you said you have the list?
Yeah. I'll go ahead and I'll post the questions
Okay.
in. Let me post them in Roll20 here, so that you will.
Oh, I found them.
Ah, excellent.
Okay.
Because
So
it's giving me a devil of a time highlighting them.
perfect.
Like, damn it, copy and paste, you son of a.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh. What? So she'll ask, what should I be on the lookout for?
Okay. You should be on the lookout for looking through. You're gonna see references to a number of things in this sector that are suspected to have had influence from visitors. Since you're kind of looking at the history of this planet, the closest one would be on one of the moons. There is also, that aside, that seems to be the most quote-unquote stable. The other areas where it's like things have been trading hands, there's talk of artifacts about, maybe. And also the idea that, you know that there's a relic. You know about that. You've heard of the relic. That's in this sector also, being taken care of. And that actually goes down a separate rabbit hole. So I need to actually, I need to pick a rabbit hole here real quick. So Rabbit hole number 1 is the thing on the moon. Rabbit hole number 2 involves the space station, and the relic that's there.
Let's
And
talk
so I
about
need
the
to-
space station.
The space station? Okay. And like I said, that doesn't deny you access to the other rabbit hole, but there's going to be a certain amount of time before other things happen. So but I want to get through your questions before I do one more quick shift here. So the space station. This is the first time you've seen, I think, what they call the relic. Because there have been difference in translations exactly. There have been all these rumors that it's an alien corpse or it's something along those lines. But it is tied not directly to your religion, but indirectly. It's actually a different religion. So first off, let me tell you that so Mela, the space station, Mela Station is the home to the Abbey of St. Calodrin. Now, they are nominally part of. They have a number of saints in their religion. But they have like the single primary god. This religion. It's kind of like. It's the Order of St. Calodrin is a subsect of the Church of Eternal Divinity, which is monotheistic, and pretty big. It's one of the quote unquote major religions around. But it's an order of monks, who take care of the relic, believed to be Saint Calodrin. Now, here's the thing about the name Calodrin. It's something about seeing it spelled out this way, with this particular, in this language. There is a figure in your religion with a very similar name. One of the demigods. Not one of the gods, but one of the demigods. One of the ones who came later, the children of the gods. And you can decide if the name is exactly the same, or if it's, or if it's different, or how what the name is. That's kind of a tie-in that you sort of had in the back of your head because you'd read about it before, but this is actually bringing it into sharp relief, right? So one of the ones who came down later, the demigod that came down later, Calodrin, or whatever you folks call them, from the perspective of the eternal divinity, is said to have held some kind of key to allow greater communion. With their god.
Is this a literal key?
That's the thing about these old texts. It's hard to say.
Okay.
You do, however, have 2 more questions.
Okay. Let's see. Who is the biggest threat?
Let me see here. I just also want to apologize. I've been having trouble keeping an eye on our Zoom chat just lately. But let me just deal with that put in a thing real quick. The biggest threat. Biggest threat in this context. The thing is, here's the thing about your version of Caladrin.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't particularly good or bad, he was more neutral. And in your religion, the god that Caladrin is descended from is not the most pleasant individual. It's one of the I don't know what you call this deity, but one of the names you've heard for this deity in other sources, at least, is the Warden.
Okay. Seems bad.
Kind of a jailer of the afterlife type deal thing.
Oh.
Keeps
Okay.
horrors in a cage beyond. That kind of thing. Various sources, some of them probably apocryphal. At least some of them, if not all of them. But yes, there's the biggest threat, I would say. Is that actually the biggest threat? Well, it's a threat. Yeah. Anyway, from this context, yes. Sorry. That's what you're putting together there.
Okay. And then what here is not what it seems.
There's you think there's a connection to more than one deity. You think there's a connection here to multiple beings who live in kind of this beyond. And the thing that is not what it seems as you're looking at this text, you realize, because again, this isn't a text you've looked at a lot, this is a text from a different religion.
Mm-hmm.
It never, something that kind of hits is it never really, you notice something that's kind of in your texts but is not in these texts. So Caladrin is supposed to be dead. But nowhere here does it say that Caladrin is dead. It says more that Caladrin is asleep. And I think with that revelation, I will ask briefly, do we want to... I just wanted to find out from some things from Fergus. We can do that now, or we can do that next time. How are we feeling?
We can do it next time. That's fine.
Okay.
I like the idea of leaving it with the god being asleep.
Yes. I like that too. And Fergus will have a number of interesting things to deal with very soon, possibly including a giant brawl. But we will get to that as soon as we get to that next time. Excellent. Excellent.
And a friend he promised to watch over in the middle of that giant brawl.
Yes. Well, folks, we've done it. We've done an episode. Yay!
Yay!
Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for playing. I'm excited. We're getting this thing. We're kicking this thing off. There's a lot. There's so much going on here potentially, and I'm very pleased to see the delving happening. Much to do. Much to do. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go around, and we're going to do some outros. And you can tell folks where they can find you, and feel free to plug whatever you like, and any final thoughts you have about this session. And we are going in reverse order from how we started. So we would be starting then with Katy.
Hi everyone, I'm Katy. You can find me everywhere on the internet at KatyFace. I'm not doing any streams at the moment because I've sort of taken a step back, but I am a professional paid DM. Right now I am getting ready to run another game of D&D 5e, starting in a couple of weeks. Links are on my Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. It's called Endless Sands, I believe. I can't remember. My brain is fried right now. It's about a queen awakening in the desert who was blocking out the sun and the heroes who are trying to stop it. It's very fun. If you're interested, go check it out. Would love to have you. If I do say so myself, I run a very, very good game. And
it's true.
I have upped my game with using. I've got a year subscription to Incarnate. I'm using maps and tokens now, baby. So it's all in there. I'm doing that if you're interested. I had a lot of fun. I hope that we can actually get on the schedule now. Everyone has had like so many scheduling things, and this isn't a judgment. I understand. But I hope that we can get it because I want to play again. Like I want to know the things that are happening. I want to know who I'm going to work for and who's going to potentially ruin my life.
Oh yes.
And I'm really excited.
I can't wait. I honestly can't wait.
I know you can't.
I really want you to meet this person.
I'm so excited. So yeah, I had a great time.
Excellent. And now we are going to head over to Robin.
Hello, everyone. I've been Robin. You can find me most places at r_Omulus. I am not doing anything right now, but I do have commissions open if you would like me to draw something for you. I like to design tattoo flash and draw little guys. And let me draw your little guy. My commission email is romulus.commissions@gmail.com. You can also message me on any social media, and I will respond.
Yay! Awesome. Did you have any other final thoughts you wanted to mention, or are we good?
I can't wait to blame Levitt for my poisoning.
How did I know it was gonna come to I knew it when you knew it.
Excellent. Good. And
Marcus thinking, I just had a cold. I sneezed. What?
What happened? I don't know. But now we are going to head over to Mem.
Hello, I'm Mem. You can find me on that bird app sometimes, but I'm not really on there very much. And I guess I have a Twitch that I'm also not on very much. I exist here, and only here, it seems. Maybe one day I'll be somewhere else. Thoughts on this? It was a ton of fun, as per usual, for things I do here on the stream, and in the TTRPG space. I feel like I would say that I select well, but I don't think I really select. People just ask me, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds fun. So I always have a good time, but this was especially fun because I don't think I usually make a character where I let my inner meme come out, and apparently that's Arena. So I kind of like it. She doesn't feel the need to be polite, and I'm like, okay, that's good. We can work with this. We can run with this. So it felt natural. It felt good. So I enjoy making people be on the defensive already.
I love Arena so much. Beautiful, beautiful. And finally, we will head over to Cleric.
Hello, I'm Clark of Cord. You can find me over on Blue Sky. I check in there about once a day, every other day, something like that. Don't really have a lot to say because most of it's being said by other people in a much better way. Otherwise, I'm looking at a whole bunch of Discords. You can reach me there. No other streams than this one right now. I'm just starting to put my toes back in the water after a couple of interesting years. This is, I mean, anytime I get a chance to sit at a table with these people and with Jim, I'm going to do it. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, Fergus is just such a simple, uncomplicated cinnamon roll of a guy. He just wants to take care of his ship and take care of the people on his ship. And, I mean, he likes ham. It has no bones in it. He thinks that Jackson is just the best because Jackson provides food with no bones. That's much easier to get. Yeah, he's a very simple, straightforward kind of guy. Yeah, him and his taking care of his friend Trinket. That's it. Fergus is sitting back with popcorn watching these people needlessly complicate their lives, going, why? Why are you doing this to yourself?
That's fair. Very fair. Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing the trouble Fergus gets into next time. As it's likely to happen, even though Fergus isn't trying to get in trouble, it's likely to happen. We'll see how things go. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and put Hollow's contact information in chat for folks who want to follow him. And that leaves me. I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch, YouTube, and most social media platforms. Wherever I'm not OtherDoc, I am Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below on Twitch, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things. I have an announcement to make. Finally, for things appear to be happening, I can finally talk about it without being cagey. On Thursday nights, coming up very soon, in a couple of weeks or so, we are going to start a short campaign of Blades in the Dark. My friend Brian will be running it, and we have some very delightful players, some of whom you will likely recognize, and we're gonna try to do a little campaign of this game that I've never actually played before, but have been meaning to for several years now. So I am very much looking forward to it. So look forward to that within a few weeks, Thursday nights.
Is it set in Duskfall? Or
yeah, I believe so. I think
Cool.
Brian's just going to use the standard Duskfall setting. So I'm I am keen to dig into it because it's I have never had the chance. So that is what will be happening. Aside from that, I may try to get some one shots going soon. I just have to hit the point where it's like the brain sees an expanse of space in front of it, so it's like, oh yes, I can fill this with that. Once I have that, then I will start sign-ups for one shots. But we just got to get there soon, probably. Now that we've got this going. So that's what we've got happening right now. Thank you all so much for watching, folks. I really appreciate it. When we hit the end card, we're going to go and say hi. I think we're gonna try raiding the folks over at Sword and Key. My friend Jen is running a game over there. So if we can, we'll see if raiding is possible. But we'll go and say hi to them. If not, we'll pick somebody else. But feel free to hang on if you're so inclined and say hi to them with us. And again, that will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.